This is TechVibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at Compunetics.com, Chorus Call at ChorusCall.com, Highmark at Highmark.com, Huntington Bank at Huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at PNC.com, and Savier at Savier.com. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to TechVibe Radio. I do appreciate you taking the time to learn all about the great companies that are making Pittsburgh's technology industry just tick. So much fun bringing you the show. Today, we're taking a little different tack than we normally do. I actually have two different guests kind of stopping by, for lack of a better term. I'm always out interviewing so many people for our podcast, for our magazine, TEQ at the Tech Council, and I grab interviews with people where I'm like, man, this would be a perfect thing to bring on to TechVibe Radio, but we have limited time here on TechVibe. We only got 22 minutes, and my interviews go on a little bit longer than that. But I always love being able to excerpt them and then bring them here to the show so you can listen to some of the better parts of these podcasts, learn about these important people and these important companies. And then, of course, if you want to listen to more, just go to our website, pghtech.org, wherever you get your podcasts, and look for TechVibe, and you can listen to the full story to learn more about these people. And on our first segment today, we're going to be hearing from Mike Sicoli, who is the new CEO at DQE Communications. And if you don't know DQE Communications, they go back to 1997. I have a kind of a sweet spot in my heart for them because I go back to the Tech Council in 1997. I feel like we have this similar start date thing going on. It makes me nostalgic. But they're owned by Duquesne Light, and they're a fiber optic company, and been really a staple of the tech community here. But they were actually purchased just this past year by a private equity group in order to make them grow fast and offer more services. So I was curious to learn more about the future of the company and what kind of hands it was in. And I got to hang out with Mike Sicoli. And Mike was just a great guy. I'm really interested. I'm so excited about the growth track he's putting the company on. He's really waking the company up and really just trying to make it just grow and grow and grow. Because that's what private equity companies do, of course. But I love the fact that that means more growth here in Pittsburgh as well, too. So we're going to hear from him in a second. And when we get back later in the show, we're going to be hearing from Birinder Singh from Auxiliobits, which is all about AI automation. Lots going on here in Pittsburgh, and I just love being able to bring little snippets of it for you to learn about what's making Pittsburgh, in my opinion, such an awesome city to be in. So let's kick it off here with Mike Sicoli from DQE. You can learn more about his plans for making DQE grow right here in the Pittsburgh region. Mike, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm really excited to meet you and learn about what DQE is up to because you've been making some headlines lately.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's great to meet you as well. Happy to share all the exciting news.
Yeah, there's so much going on. First off, my mind was a little blown when I got the news release that that DQE, which was owned by Duquesne Light, was bought by GI Partners. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is really cool. This is going to create some new growth and opportunity. We get very excited about that at the Tech Council. Just tell our listeners a little bit about what that means for DQE.
Sure. So DQE grew up as a division, an unregulated subsidiary of the power company. It existed under the power company's ownership for about 20 years. And at some point over the last few years, the power company decided they wanted to, sell this division off and focus on the core power business. And they hired a banker, and like most companies do when they're looking to sell. And a number of parties participated in the process to look. And it's commonly referred to as an auction, but it's not the auction you might think of where a guy holds up a number, at the front. But GI Partners is a private equity firm that's very well known in the telecom and infrastructure space. They were one of the firms that was involved in this process looking at DQE and ultimately ended up as the winning bidder at the end of last year. And then it took about 5 months or so to get the deal closed because of the regulatory approval. But we're very excited. I actually worked on the transaction with GI as a consultant during the diligence phase. So I was familiar with their thinking and when they decided to step up and make the acquisition. And, it turned out that they wanted to bring a change to the leadership team, and that created an opportunity for me to step in and run the company when we closed in May.
That is very exciting. First of all, how cool that you're part of structuring the deal. So you got to see the insides of what DQ is all about. So, I mean, obviously, I'm thinking GI Partners was probably very excited to acquire DQE, just knowing the footprint that you guys have and the services that you've provided. The one thing that I love about DQE is it goes back to when I started the Tech Council back in 1997. So I feel like I have this weird camaraderie with DQE Communications. It's like a lot of fun for me. So give our listeners just a little backdrop of the core things that DQE does, because, I mean, your fiber network is pretty impressive. And I think a lot of people, they always take it for granted, the fiber network that they're on, because you mentioned before we hit record on this that it's like the plumbing of the internet, and man, is plumbing important.
Exactly. Maybe not always the most exciting, but, we always just rely on it being there and working. And, really, it's a big problem for everybody when it's not working. But yeah, so our footprint started in the, central business district area of Pittsburgh and sort of branched out over the years. Our footprint kind of extends down now into like the northern half of West Virginia. We expanded out to Harrisburg and Lancaster and York. And we go up as far as like the Sharon Hermitage area. We have about 5,000 miles of fiber, which is a significant amount of fiber in that relatively small area. And what that means is that we're very dense, which means we reach a lot of locations. We only sell to businesses. We do have a very small residential footprint down in Washington County, but the overwhelming majority of the business is focused on selling internet and connectivity services to businesses. And we have almost 3,000 business locations on our network already, and nearly 100,000 that are within a quarter mile of our network.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, talk about some market opportunity, and the fact, first 5,000 miles, that's some serious fiber. So up to 100,000 businesses that you could reach out to.
Yes, absolutely. We also have about 650 cell sites on net already, in addition to probably another 350 that are within that quarter mile radius as well. So so many people now are using their phones to, go on this data journey, both inside the house and outside the house. So the cell site is, one of the most important pieces of infrastructure that we have in the country now. And so we serve a lot of those locations as well.
I can really see the excitement of bringing DQE under the wing with GI Partners. I mean, that just seems like a perfect fit. And so it seems like obviously you guys are in a mode to grow, right? This is something where you buy this and you see the potential to grow. Tell me more about your growth plans and what you have in store for us here in the Pittsburgh region.
Yeah, and not to say anything negative about Duquesne Light, but large utility companies usually don't have a growth mindset. And I think that there was a lot of advantages the company had by being under the Duquesne Light name early on. But as time went on, I think, it became clear that there was a great growth opportunity here that wasn't being captured under Duquesne Light's ownership. So just separating from the parent alone and fully controlling our own destiny, bringing on our own team, not having to, shoehorn ourselves into the rules and the regulations of the parent, just gives us a lot of flexibility and autonomy to get after it in the marketplace. We've brought on a couple of new team members. Most of the team is the same, but we had to stand up the back office functions and also bring in some new leadership team members as well, like a CFO and a chief revenue officer. And the growth plan really sort of comes down to maybe three different pillars. One of them is just executing our sales and marketing strategy better than we have in the past by bringing in more people, by investing more in advertising. The company really didn't spend a lot on advertising, nor did it even have a marketing department when we took over. And so, we're really excited to sort of get the word out and, engage in all of the marketing strategies that people are used to businesses who want to grow engaging in that we just weren't doing. Another area is the product portfolio. So today we really just focus on the pure data services, which is internet and metro Ethernet and dark fiber. But there's a lot of ancillary services that go on top of that many of our competitors offer and that our customers want, that being voice as well as SD-WAN, some data security services as well. So those are all on our roadmap. And then beyond that.
I'm very excited for DQE and everything that's going on with them. Like I think Mike gave me he gave me a really nice tour of what's happening. So I encourage you to listen and get the full story by going to pghtech.org. And while you're there, you can find out how we love helping tech companies succeed. My goodness, we've been doing that since 1983. It's our passion. We love it, that's for sure. So keep yourself tuned right here. We'll be back with more Tech Vibe Radio, coming back with my segment from Birinder Singh from Auxiliobits. If you're all about learning about how AI is automating the workplace, you got to keep on listening. I got some good stuff coming your way. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Every company needs to attract and keep talented people. To do it, you need a strong company story told by those who experience it every day, your employees. So invite your people to be your brand voice and let the Kindling Culture Agency gather and ignite your stories to engage and attract your people. Learn how at sparksomething.big.com. That's sparksomething.big.com. Your dial is set to Tech Vibe Radio, brought to you by Compunetics, Chorus Call, Highmark, Huntington Bank, Kindling, PNC Bank, and Savier. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Welcome back. So happy you're spending Sunday morning with Tech Vibe Radio. It's an honor to have you listening. So glad you're making it part of your Sunday morning. I hope your day is off to a great start and you've got some fun plans set for the rest of the day. As I promised, I've been doing so many interviews, and I wanted to bring you these interviews because I can't package everything. Man, I would need hours and hours of radio if I were to bring you all the interviews that I do. But these were a couple that really stood out to me in the past couple of weeks, and I thought, man, I'm bringing these right to air so our listeners can learn about these companies. We just listened to DQE and heard from the new CEO, Mike Sicoli, about what's going on and their growth plans, which I'm very excited about. And when I think about things that are growing, it's all about AI in this day and age. I mean, you can't walk down the street more than 2 feet without hearing somebody talk about AI. But I got to interview Birinder Singh of Auxiliobits, and this company it just specializes 100% in AI automation, especially across the office space. What he's doing now is pretty mind-blowing stuff, and where he sees, of course, the industry going is even more exciting. So let's just jump into the conversation I had with him right now, and you can just learn a little bit more about Auxiliobits and Birinder, and then once again, just get this front row seat for what's happening in the world of AI. Birinder, you're working on some cool stuff, and I just cannot wait to learn more. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today.
Thank you, John, and I'm looking forward to having a great conversation here.
Without a doubt. So, I mean, first and foremost, I just need to know a little bit about yourself and, of course, the elevator pitch for what Auxiliobits is all about.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, I'm the CEO of the company, and I founded it in 2018. I have a total of more than 20 years of experience in technology. And all my experience, led me to build something that would actually ease out human lives. And the technology that was at the height of the Gartner cycle, that was robotic process automation by then. And that particular technology would actually take any enterprise process and automate that manual process, whatever people are doing on a computer, which is mundane and pretty straightforward.
Exactly.
So we started off building software robots, and then made those robots more intelligent by adding a flavor of AI to it. So business process automation is our nation. That's what we are into.
Very cool stuff. And this is just so important because, like you said, it frees up time, it creates efficiencies, it allows companies to innovate, and it's all based on AI, which is, of course, everybody is talking about. So your timing is quite great when it comes to getting your company up and off the ground and everything like that. So maybe, just kind of tell us about some of your journey through all this and really like how is AI and RPA How's that transforming business today? Because I mean, we just touched on it a little, but the idea we can go a little more detail would just be awesome.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so when we started, it was pretty straightforward, right? So we took manual processes on in an enterprise, maybe around an ERP, handling invoices, paying those invoices and, getting through an approval process. All of that was manual. I'll say that, okay, there were applications that could automate that, but still, I mean, there were people who were actually doing that mundane stuff day in, day out. So we started building software robots using platforms, which actually got us into automating all this kind of stuff. A software robot would actually deploy on a machine, and then it would actually perform all those human actions, similar to what a human being would do with a keyboard and a mouse. Interact with different applications, read emails, or open a web browser, open a certain website, log in, and then do some data entry stuff. So that was pretty initial phase of what we did. Robotic process automation could actually automate all of that, and then once we had a maturity level in the technology, we would actually deploy certain AI tools as well, wherein that machine learning would actually know how to read different formats of invoices. Could actually use computer vision to understand different elements on the screen and stuff like that, so that the software robot became more intelligent enough to take decisions on its own. Although, I mean, we had some human in the loop concept where if the robot was not that confident, it could actually go to a human being. Oh, hey, this is something that I figured out. Is
Okay.
this right or wrong? And when that input came from a human being, the bot would actually be more intelligent to not actually go to the human being the next time it faces the
Yeah.
same issue or the same scenario, right? So that's how we build software intelligent robots, and put some intelligence into it. So I mean, that was the journey until 2023, and then the large language models came in, the generative AI came in, where the software robots were actually replaced by agents, AI agents. So we have quite a few transformation from software robots, intelligent automation to agentic process automation. So it's pretty interesting to know that in this kind of year, we are using generative AI to build those AI agents, and we can talk about that if you have those questions for me,
Yeah.
maybe down the line.
Oh,
Yeah.
that just gets so exciting for me when I hear that you're working at that level. What I thought was really interesting was when you mentioned the fact that like when it doesn't know, it'll actually then cue a human being to give it the answer, which it knows is going to be very accurate, and it just puts that into its learning, and it takes that on and becomes part of how it continues to work. That is so
Yeah.
cool. So, Birinder, I'm curious, like, what are some typical industries or companies within industries that you work with that is starting to deploy this technology that you're developing?
Yeah, we work with quite a few healthcare companies where we work on the revenue cycle side of things, where going to the payer websites are involved, claims filing, eligibility checks, and stuff like that. We also work on the patient doctor encounter part, the patient scheduling and stuff like that. So where the software bot could actually go in and then schedule an appointment for a patient if somebody is on a chatbot or calls in, or if you need to file a claim of your all the appointments that you have looked into. We work with providers, with healthcare units, and companies like that to automate a lot of healthcare processes. And then we work with manufacturing companies
Mhm.
to automate a lot of their manual processes within their ERP systems. For example, some they receive vendor invoices. Their accounts payable can be automated using software robots. The robot can actually monitor an email inbox. Whenever it receives a new email with an invoice, it can read that invoice. It can extract entities from that particular invoice, and it knows what to do with that invoice because it has that logic built in. That okay, this is the vendor. This is the PO number against which the invoice has been raised, and this is what I need to do with this particular invoice. Maybe a data entry into an ERP, sending to somebody on an email for approval, and then once that approval is received, it actually goes in and authorizes the payment as well. So a lot of end-to-end automation can be done by minimizing that human touch within that process, so that you are, as you said, poised for scale. So you can actually address more volume of invoices with the same number of people you're having. And obviously, the software robots never get tired. They work 24/7. I know.
Birinder is definitely an amazing guy. I'm so glad he's building what he's building. He's just pushing the envelope. There's just no other way to describe what he is doing. It mesmerizes me, the technologies that they are building there. Hey, I want to thank you once again for tuning in to TechVibe, making us part of your Sunday morning. It's an honor and a privilege to be on the air, bringing you the stories of these great companies, to talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Technology Council and how we love helping these tech companies succeed. It's pretty amazing stuff. We have so much fun with it. Keep tuning in every single weekend if you want to, once again, keep on learning about Pittsburgh tech companies. And check out our new podcast, 10-Minute Tech Talks, how tech companies fail and how entrepreneurs can avoid it, by going to our website or wherever you get your podcasts. This has been Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Once again, pghtech.org. Have an awesome rest of your Sunday, everybody. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savier at savier.com. And we're always coming at you from the Huntington Bank Studios.